rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. You know, it's been kind of dreary here at the studio. You know, I mean, fall is great. Don't get me wrong. I love fall. Summer is like the time of year that I tend to not like as much as the rest. Although spring and summer are kind of competing for the honor of being at the bottom of my list. Fall and winter are my two favorites, winter being at the top, fall being the next one down. And mainly it's just because of the fact that I like colder weather. I just do. I like it when it gets colder. And so today, actually this entire week, it's been kind of dreary here in the Pacific Northwest area. And we've had some times of sun and things like that, but it's been kind of dreary. So tonight, I'll get to my drink here in just a few minutes, but tonight I went to a different drink, more of a fall type drink for it. And so there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. First of all, of course, let's get the Pledge of Allegiance going. And tonight is my news. My news has the opportunity tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with my news as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course, I thank you, My News, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file that it creates, and you can either send it to me via email or share it to me via email. And you can send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. I'm looking for number 20 still. I think I've gotten all of the regular Brave ones, so there's got to be somebody out there who may be interested and is just lurking in the shadows, wanting to send it in, but hasn't quite hit that button yet. They're just sitting there and you know, sitting on the send key and just like, do I want to send it or don't I? Yeah, okay. Give me number 20. I like even numbers. All right. Well, tonight, of course, is
down to business.
That's the nectar of the gods, baby.
That's right. It is Whiskey Wednesday. It's like Taco Tuesday, but for badasses. And as I said in my opening statement, because it is fall, and as you can see behind me, we've got a little rain and some wind and floating leaves coming down. I'm drinking a spiced cider. This is not tea. This is a spiced cider. And that spiced cider is spiked with some Fireball cinnamon whiskey. So this, now you might say, wait a minute. Come on, Rick. This has got it's a small bottle. Yeah, well, there's a story behind this. So Mrs. Whiskey would go with my daughter, young Miss Whiskey, running around all over the place. And they basically what she would do is she would take the Fireball. This is about the only whiskey that she really would drink per se. Because she's not really, Mrs. Whiskey isn't really a whiskey drinker. Okay. I like Fireball only because of the fact that it reminds me of the old candy Red Hots. All right. And anyway, this, so, and I don't drink flavored whiskeys that much. The only two that I do drink is this one, obviously, and the blackberry, whiskey of either Crown Royal or, Jack Daniels, one or the other. So anyway, tonight I wanted to get a little autumn going. And so spice cider is an autumn drink. And so there we go. I just put that in and there we go. I've already put one in. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to drop this one in to it as well, because I've got it low enough now. I can add some more of it. There we go. See? And just for proof for you guys, there it is. It's empty. It was full. Now it's empty. Anyway, so that's what I have in my cup. And it is brimming. Yes, the cinnamon. No, it's kind of funny. I don't really like apples, but yeah, I don't like apples very much, but I'll drink apple cider and I'll eat apple fritters. But I don't eat apple pie. Yeah. Anyway. Long story behind that. We've already digressed enough. All right. Tonight's headline sponsor is none other than TGRN, True Grit Roots Network, TGRN.net. Oh, there I am. Woohoo. Anyway, I covered myself up with the graphic, but that's okay. True Grit Roots Network, TGRN.net. Head on over to TGRN.net right now and head on over to TGRN.net. Well, maybe not right now, but after the show. And listen to one of our two wonderful channels, whether it's Walter Trout Blues Rock Radio or Dallas Moore Outlaw Radio. Either one is always playing 24/7, 365 on Live 365. And, yeah, so go and listen to them right now. You can listen right in the web widget, which is right here. I'm showing it to you on the screen for those of you who are in the audio portion of the program. But there they are. There's the two web widgets. You can grab one of them and just start to listen right there through the browser. Or if you would like, and we would love it too if you would do this, you can download our app for either Walter Trout Blues Rock Radio or Dallas Moore Outlaw Radio. Either one, they're both on the App Store and Google Play. And they are wonderful to carry around with you wherever you go. I listen when I'm outside doing the work. I listen on my mobile device. That's the whole point of being mobile, man. You can listen to whatever you want on your phone for the most part. Also, too, you can listen through your television set as well, just like Rumble has their app on there. So does Live 365. And you can grab the Live 365 app and then search up either Dallas Moore Outlaw Radio or Walter Trout Blues Rock Radio. One of those two or both. Listen to all of them all the time. Listen as many times as you can. We enjoy it over at TGRN. TGRN stands for True Grit Roots Network. Once again, TGRN.net is our home on the web. And we invite you to come and listen. Got some great programming going on there, let me tell you. Yeah, come on over. Set a spell. Drink a little whiskey while you listen to the programs. And enjoy yourself. TGRN.net is our home on the web. TGRN, True Grit Roots Network, based out of Austin, Texas. Okay. Oh, goodness. Well, you know, Trump's a troller. Trump's always a troller. Trump is always a troller. And, well, he kind of taunted, I should say, the Democrat leaders who arrived in the Oval Office. Let's see, when was this? Today? No, the shutdown approaches. Yeah, so it might have been, it's Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, Trump invited Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and, of course, Mike Johnson were all there. And, yeah. Anyway, Trump trolled them. He just does this a lot. Oh, my gosh. Take a look at this. What's that on the Resolute desk? None other than Trump 2028 hats. Just to mess with them. He put them out there in front of them and was like, hey, here you go. Take them. Trump 2028. And, yeah. So, there you go. There you go. But, yeah, Trump is always going to troll. He's going to troll you because he thinks that that's fun, kind of funny. I think it's funny, too, because they keep blaming him every time. Oh, no, there's going to be no election. It's going to be Trump again. Trump. It's always going to be Trump. Yeah, no, that's not the case. But, anyway, they left them there, by the way. They left them on the desk. And, yeah, so there's Johnson and Schumer and, of course, Hakeem Jeffries on the side. So they had to go and, yeah. Trump's hilarious. Oh, and there's Thune. Thune's on the opposite, on the other side over there. Well, whatever happened to working together is kind of gone out the window, and mainly it's just because of the fact that the Democrats just literally do not want to budge. So, of course, we're in the shutdown. And we know, 3 Chevy, that's a damn good point. 3 Chevy points out the hats don't say which Trump in 2028. Yeah, it doesn't say which Trump in 2028. It just says Trump 2028. So, yeah, maybe that's an indication that we could be looking at one of the sons trying to run in 2028. Frankly, I don't think that would be a very good idea, because that sort of usurps J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has done a fantastic job and so far as vice president, and I think he has gained some chops in the position. So I really would think that running one of the Trump kids in 2028, if J.D. Vance runs, that's yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. I just think it's a little rough, but that's all right. Anyway, moving on. So we obviously are in a shutdown, at least a partial shutdown. I talked about it last night, and we're going to continue to be in the shutdown because of the fact that the Senate has to reach 60 votes. And so far, they're about 5 votes shy of it. They're about 5 votes shy of getting the 60 to break the filibuster. The Democrats demanding, of course, the Obamacare tax credit extension and a bunch of other things that are going on. But, yeah, this is just crazy. So, those of you that have memories a little bit longer than your average American can remember that we went through a 35-day government shutdown back in the first Trump term. So, yeah, And also, too, keep in mind that that's only non-essential personnel. So, yeah. Like some people are saying in the chat here, it's like, government shutdown? Oh, no. Anyway, so there you go. Oh, these guys, they're just, I mean, all of this, again, all of this is performative, or yeah, it's performative, is really all this is. Because the Democrats are asking for extending the special stuff from Obamacare and everything. They're asking to extend all those things. They can pick that back up after the shutdown. That's the key, is that they don't have to do this. The Democrats didn't have to do this. They could have just agreed with the continuing resolution, the 19-page CR, and just said, hey, we're just going to continue with this, and then we'll take up the $1.5 trillion that we want to add to the spending after the fact. And yeah, anyway, so anyway, we'll just have to see what's going on. So anyway, and by the way, Kat Kamek, who is a representative out of Florida, she actually sent a letter saying, hey, I don't want to get paid. If nobody else in the government gets paid, I don't want to get paid. Okay, that's great. One thing you've got to realize about Congress, though, the vast majority of them, they believe that they are not subject to the same laws that everybody else is. So, yeah, nobody will be jumping on that bandwagon, I don't think. It would be nice. It would be nice, but yeah, I don't think so. Congress. It's just like asking Congress to put in their own term limits. You know that's not going to happen. You know that isn't going to happen. So why anybody sits here and like complains about term limits and says, hey, we need to get term limits. We need term limits. No. Congress is not going to vote for its own term limits. You would have to go through the Convention of States process in Article 5 of the Constitution in order to get the Congress term limits put in. And let's be honest, term limits are supposed to be when they get elected. I mean, unfortunately, nobody of today's day and age in the modern world actually pays attention to politics, except for those of us who are destined to whip and beat ourselves with it and kind of laugh at it all at the same time. But yeah, it's just yeah. Anyway, all right. So, let's see. Oh, so yesterday I told you about the Gaza peace plan that Trump put together and that Israel agreed to, that many Arab countries agreed to, that even the European countries agreed to, and thought that this was all, all well and good. Well, Hamas has already said and signaled that they have the opportunity to reject it because it only serves Israel's interests. Yeah. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. Come on now. We knew. And so, yeah, they're just, they say it ignores the Palestinian people. I'd like to understand how is it that you are handing over a piece of land to a people, telling them that, hey, we're going to have somebody other than the Israeli forces here. It's going to be a coalition of other forces. And they're going to occupy the area for the time being, but just as peacekeepers until you guys get trained up to where you can protect yourselves and police yourselves. And then on all of this, we are going to help you rebuild. All you have to do is hand over the hostages that you have left, disarm, disband, and never be in charge ever again. I mean, and keep in mind, too, that Hamas doesn't like the Palestinian people anyway. The Hamas hates their own people. If you're a Palestinian who is not a part of Hamas, you're, just as bad as any other of Hamas's enemies. And this is part of the problem with Hamas being in charge. See, again, I keep pointing this out. The Gaza Strip had the opportunity to create a beautiful country and oasis back in starting in 2007. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. It's honestly quite frightening to think about Hamas being in charge of all of this. But, yeah. So the militant group, of course, says that they have issues with some of Trump's 20 conditions, including that it disarm, destroy its weapons, as well as the deployment of the International Stabilization Force. The official of the official of Hamas told the BBC News. Now, they have yet to officially respond to the peace plan, but they only have a certain amount of time left, to be honest with you. So, yeah, 3 or 4 days is what Trump gave Hamas on Tuesday to agree. So, yeah. Anyway. There are some Arab mediators, though, that are more optimistic about this. They're telling the Wall Street Journal that the terror group is open to accepting the conditions, but asked for additional time, given that it had some reservations. Yeah. I don't think so. So, there you go. We'll have to see. I'm not holding out hope. Let's be honest, I'm not holding my breath for this because, again, they had the opportunity back in 2007. They could have decided to lay down their arms back then and just create this oasis in the Gaza Strip. But no. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do this. Before I shift gears, let me go ahead and talk to you about, let me see, who is, no. Oh, this one's a new one. Let's try this one. Let's take a look at this guy. All right. So, if you are hungry for truth in a world full of noise, check out the books that are coming out of the GK Publishing over at gatekeepersonline, all one word, .com. gatekeepersonline.com. This is a bold lineup of authors who refuse to bend the knee to cancel culture or compromise on truth. We're talking books like Church and State, How the Left Used the Church to Conquer America, featuring Pastor Greg Locke, Denise McAllister, and Dr. Michael Brown. Social Injustice, Exposing the False Gospel of the Social Justice Movement, with contributions from Jeff Dornick, Brandon Howe, and Dr. Andy Woods, among others. And The 5 Steps to Kill a Nation by Pastor Sam Jones. They've even got Dr. Robert Lopez's Cancel Proof Christianity on pre-order right now, as well as Jeff Dornick's upcoming book, Following the Leader, which exposes the cult-like loyalty people are placing in political figures. That sounds like a good one. These are voices you won't hear on mainstream platforms. These books challenge, equip, and inform from a biblical and constitutional foundation. So head on over to gatekeepersonline.com. That's gatekeepersonline, all one word, .com. Right now and grab one or all of these books. Support real publishing and fuel your mind with the truth. Get free shipping when you use the code RUMBLE at gatekeepersonline.com. That's gatekeepersonline, all of that one word, .com, and get free shipping when you use code RUMBLE. Go to gatekeepersonline.com, use promo code RUMBLE, and get free shipping on those books. Go and check them out today. All right. So you remember in the last couple episodes, I did talk about a Iowa school superintendent that was an illegal alien. Well, a couple of things came out about this. First of all, apparently the school district never bothered to check through the official channels to figure out whether or not the guy was an illegal alien or not. That's number one. That's been reported. I mean, it's kind of difficult to have a check process if nobody bothers to use it. All of that being said, the story has actually even gotten worse with something else. The gentleman who was the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools in Iowa and arrested by ICE late last week for illegally overstaying a 1999 student visa. And I thought that illegal aliens are not allowed to vote. You know, the Democrats keep talking about how illegal aliens are not allowed to vote, that illegal aliens are not allowed to do all kinds of things. Well, let me tell you what they're also... Apparently, what also is a problem, we all know that's bullcrap, that the illegal aliens are getting Medicare, Medicaid, all that other stuff. We know it. We know it's happening. Well, apparently this individual has had an active voter registration as a Democrat in the state of Maryland since 2012. Wait, what? He's had a active voter registration. And in other words, what that means is his registration, he's voted. Because if you don't vote and you're registered, you fall inactive. Or if you've never voted, you fall inactive. But he's had an active voter registration since 2012. Now, he entered the country in 1999 on a student visa, ignored a final order of removal by an immigration judge in 2024. He gained and attained a full-time superintendent position for which he earned $270,000 as an annual salary. He fled ICE during a chase where agents eventually found cash, a knife, and a loaded gun in his vehicle. This is an illegal alien skirting the law. Represents everything bad about the failed immigration system in this country. Now, this was discovered by town hall columnist Dustin Grudge, that the man has had an active voter registration status in Maryland. He has held that status as a registered Democrat since 2012, according to those records. And yet I thought illegal aliens couldn't vote. Yeah. This, again, is the very thing that Democrats insist is not happening, could never happen. But once again, we have a fact that it is happening. It's happening now. And we've known that this is going to happen that this has been happening quite some time. So, yeah. Folks, Democrats, they are so stupid. So stupid. And they say that things are not happening, but it's good that it is. That's that they don't say that out loud, but that's exactly what they think. Oh, no, that's not happening. But in the back of their mind, it's good that it is. Yeah. That's what they do. And apparently because of this, he is eligible to vote in all federal, state, and local elections. So, okay, once again, conspiracy theory is no longer a theory. It is literally a conspiracy, and there it is. Now, his actual voting record, by the way, is unclear at the moment. But the point is that if illegal aliens are not allowed to vote, why do we keep finding them on the voter rolls in the first place? So, yeah. Just putting it out there. So, and by the way, that is the reason, because of people like him who slip through the cracks. That's the reason why Democrats have opposed the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. Excuse me. In fact, Chip Roy wrote on X saying, "Don't believe Chuck Schumer. Illegals are voting. Pass the SAVE Act and clean our voter rolls." So there you go. Yep. This guy he got caught. Now it's, yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, another thing that is going on, has anybody ever met somebody with the last name, no name given? I'm just asking the question. Because apparently, according to this article in Hot Air, no name given is a pretty common last name on commercial driver's licenses. Really? No name given. I mean, it's already bad enough, realistically, that blue states are violating the federal law by not requiring these people supposed to, be able to speak English, communicate in English all over the place. Yeah. Anyway, that to me would be a significant problem. But here are the proof. So these are photos right here of actual driver's licenses, California and New York State. And you can see on many of them, the last name is no name given. No name given. Wait, what? I didn't know that you could do this and still get a driver's license. Especially a commercial driver's license. Holy shit, maybe the next time I go in, I should just say, you know what? My name is no name given. Get a driver's license. And better yet, get an enhanced driver's license so that I can go and fly under that no name given. Oh, my gosh. No, the Right Angle News Network posted on X, breaking into the massively disturbing revelation. It has been revealed that Democrat states such as New York and California are issuing commercial driver's licenses to illegals as no name given. Republican states like Oklahoma have stated that they have already apprehended over 125 illegals with such IDs. Now, I know we're picking on California and New York, but let's be honest, Washington probably does the same thing too. See, and you guys, tying back into that whole illegalism voting of the last article, if you walk into a state, even if we have voter ID, okay, and one of the acceptable forms of voter ID is a driver's license, these guys could all register to vote right now basically, because I know that they register to vote in California and New York. I'm absolutely certain that there's voter illegals voting in Washington as well, because our governor is refusing to give over our voter rolls. But they could take these IDs, even with the Voter ID Act, because the Voter ID Act, the SAVE Act, doesn't specify that it has to be a federally government issued ID, which I personally think that is the only way to go. If you're going to vote in a federal election, you should have a federally issued picture ID that verifies citizenship. And right now, the only one that does that clearly is the passport. See, this is why I've been advocating for the passport. A lot of people would say, no, I don't want to get a passport. It's $200 or whatever it is. Then remove the cost. And when you turn 18, you automatically are given your passport. Period. And that is what you use. You renew it every 10 years. And that's what you use, is your passport. But these guys could walk into any voter place with this kind of an ID and be able to vote, because technically this is a valid ID. It's a commercial driver's license to a person by the name, no name given. What the hell is this? Straight up, what the hell is this? Apparently, many of these people refuse to reveal their first or last name, or even their entire name, to the DMV when applying for the license. I mean, seriously, what the hell? Look at this. I mean, right here. Here it is. New York. No name given. Huh? How? How is this no name given? I mean, really? They must have a really big family. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. I can't even imagine this. This just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Oh, apparently Utah does it too. So California, Utah, New York, they're all doing it. I just, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's another one. Real IDs are actually being given to them as well. So here it is, New York. There's the real ID differentiator. That star up in the right-hand corner is the thing. And if we go back, there's the star up in the upper right-hand corner for the no name given, right next to the word New York State. Yep. This is a real ID, so they can fly. They can, yeah, anyway. What a bunch of crap. What a bunch of crap. These people are on the road, by the way, folks. These people are... They're on the road. They're being allowed. This stuff is being allowed right now. I mean, seriously. I can't... I mean, here's a map. Let's open this up. I got to see this map in a much larger format. But here's a map. Yeah. No data. Fewer. Does not issue. Yeah. So this might even be bigger than what we think. I mean, what a mess. This is such a mess. Yeah. This is such a mess. I can't even imagine. And you sit here and you wonder to yourself, how does all of this get passed and taken care of? I mean, yeah. This is why. And you wonder why we're so screwed up right now. Because we're allowing all of this stuff we're allowing all of this stuff to happen because we're not paying attention to the laws anymore. We're not paying attention to law. Now, see, that's one of the things that I argue with regards to, Donald Trump. And everybody talking about how Donald Trump is breaking the Constitution and stuff. No, what's happening, folks, is that all of a sudden Donald Trump is enforcing laws that the left has ignored for literally decades, and that your leftist governors and mayors and all these other people who are out there, now you have a guy in there who actually is a law and order guy and is enforcing laws that haven't been enforced in years, and you're freaking out about it. I mean, this is just crazy. This is just absolutely nuts that we're even allowing all of this to happen. And you wonder why we have so many of these people in terms of accidents and so on and so forth. You wonder why we have these people in here. Reportedly, by the way, here's what's even worse. How do we even know these people are if they're arrested? Scarlett Omega, a ex poster, posted this and said, a man named No Name Given Happy was convicted of murder in Minnesota recently. He was charged with a fatal stabbing at a bar and sentenced to 15 years, but his name is No Name Happy. And you wonder why our society is dropping all of this. You don't understand what, I mean, this, yeah. Oh, and by the way, think about this. This is, I mean, you can just give them any other kind of name and, get a official driver's license, official documentation. What the hell do we need forgers for anymore? I mean, if I can walk in and go to a driver's license place and say, yeah, my name is No Name Given, and I can just get a driver's license, a real ID driver's license from one of these states, what would be the point in, paying a forger to create anything? God. This is ridiculous, folks. Totally ridiculous. And all of this is happening right here on our soil. This is happening right here on our soil. This is in America. I can't even imagine. Yeah, I'll just go to California and get my fake passport or fake ID or whatever. Yeah. Here we go. All right, let me get a drink here. This. Ooh, that's got some spicy stuff. All right. Well, there's I'm going to call it not necessarily a pandemic, but an epidemic in this country. There's a huge epidemic, especially on the leftist side. Now, I've been criticized by calling leftists morons. They are morons because they actually are either stupid or foolish. which is the definition of a moron. But the thing about it is that these people, they don't even recognize what they are doing in terms of a social contagion with regards to their rhetoric. If you ever listen to a leftist, and by that I mean don't just dismiss them out of hand, but listen to the language that they use, everything that they talk about is dangerous. It's, fascist. We all know the tropes that are used. Every single one of them. And yet they don't seem to realize that just like the widespread acceptance of words that, just 50 years ago, oh my gosh, they would have, you would have made grandma drop her teacup. Yeah, threat to democracy. You're right, 3 Chevy. You would make grandma drop her teacup just by saying some words. Now is ingrained into our vernacular. And it's just it amazes me how some things that could be or that are just common sense, and not only that, but also historically accurate in terms of the history of our country and the way that, in particular, government is supposed to be, that these leftists are turning their language and everything else that they have going on into essentially a social contagion, because everybody on their side is using it. Now, here is one of the dumbest people, one of the most racist people I have ever seen on the planet, by the name of Joyless Reed. Well, her name's Joy, but I call her Joyless because she has no joy. She has no joy whatsoever. But Joyless Reed was sitting there and during an interview with BET Network's Mia Bell, and basically was claiming that Republican policies amount to a dangerous push to return America to a past era. So the interview centered on what's called Project Esther, which is a Heritage Foundation initiative that Reed described as a conservative plan to suppress dissent and restrict freedoms. I don't know if anybody's paid attention to the Heritage Foundation. I do. They are nothing but talking about how freedom of speech and rights and everything else. It has nothing to do with suppressing dissent or restricting freedoms. But she argued during this time that conservatives are seeking to recreate something from the past. And, well, okay, let's just go ahead and take a listen to the clip here. And let's listen to Joyless Reed try and explain what she's talking about here.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things.
I'm going to play that again because I really want you to listen to the first part of this.
is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes.
Right.
That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things.
No, Joy. The first part, you are correct. We don't want taxes. We don't want government regulation. We want to be able to hand our wealth down to our kids. We want to be able to pass on stuff to our children without government taking a piece of it. That's called freedom. That's called liberty. That's called limited government. That's called constrained government. And you're right, we do need to change society, because society today, in terms of the American populace, a small majority right now is sitting there and saying, oh yeah, we want socialism where government gives me everything. I mean, again, I point to this wonderful little book, okay? Think about the things that she lists. I just point to this wonderful little book right here. What is the name of this? Oh, the name is The Constitution of the United States of America. And up until the 16th Amendment, you're right, Joyless. You're right. We didn't have an income tax because it wasn't until the 16th Amendment came along that we created an income tax. And yeah, there's nothing in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution that says the federal government can control business. I mean, interstate commerce, sure. There are a few things that the federal government does control, but, yeah, we do want that back. We do want it back, that government wasn't in our lives with everything that it's in our lives. See, this is where the difference comes into play in terms of the strict constitutionalist, like myself, and dumbass people like Joyless Reed. See, in her mind, she believes that, oh no, the government is our daddy. Government is our daddy. And government is what we want to take over. And by the way, she continued on this as well, where she also said that she describes that particular vision, meaning individual liberty, rights, etc. She says that she described that vision as a society where individuals were merely workers without rights, while only the wealthy held power. She said, quote, they don't really believe that any of us have natural rights. What? What? Joyless, I got a book for you. I say it takes 15 minutes to do this, but I'm going to guess it's going to take you maybe 2 days to read this, because you obviously have problems understanding this right here. Not to mention the Declaration of Independence. Where do you think the idea came from for natural rights? I mean, the Declaration of Independence clearly wrote it out. These people are incredibly stupid. They just really are. They are incredibly stupid. And yeah, there shouldn't be any problems with this. Conservatives' agendas is free market, low taxes, individual liberty. How simple is that? You know what's funny is somebody posted something on Facebook. I can't remember what they posted. But somebody posted something on Facebook. It had to deal with healthcare. And I think maybe the government shut down or whatever. And I responded back and I said, well, you know, basically you're a complete, utter, stupid moron. And that healthcare is not a constitutionally mandated responsibility of the federal government. You know, yada, 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 my usual. And this individual came out and responded back and said, well, you know, income taxes, we need to take out income taxes, but why can't healthcare be? And why can't healthcare be a responsibility? And I just scratched my head. And I was like, apparently you missed the part where it's not a federally responsible or constitutionally mandated responsibility of the federal government. It just doesn't make any sense to me. None whatsoever. Where do these people get their they sit there and they talk about how highly educated they are, how extremely educated they are, and yet they are looking for the government to control everything. The government is one of the least efficient entities that anyone would ever know. Yeah, sorry about that. Angus was barking because Mrs. Whiskey came home. But anyway, the fact is that the government is the least efficient entity ever. They always have fraud, waste, and abuse. They shouldn't even be involved in any of these things because the Constitution specifically limits them. The 10th Amendment specifically limits them to only what is written in the Constitution for them. And yet, these people, these morons, let's call them what they are. I mean, Mark Levin, I think, has got it targeted right on their back. They are American Marxists. That's what they are. Because they are American Marxists. And they want to control all of us in every aspect of our lives, from what time we get up in the morning to what jobs we go to everything. And again, Jarhead 13 points it out right here. All of you people that want government-run healthcare, here, I got an idea for you. Jarhead 13's got an idea for you, and this is perfect. If you want government-controlled healthcare, just go to the Veterans Administration system. Go to the VA healthcare system. You want to see what government-run healthcare is going to be like? Go there. Believe me, veterans have been fighting this. Red tape, massive processing. You have no idea what it's like to deal with so much bureaucracy. And yet you seem to think that for whatever reason, like a universal healthcare system, universal basic income, all of this stuff is going to be positive for us. It's all been tried, folks. It's all been tried. All you need to do, you want to know about like the universal health care? Just go to Canada. Crap, Canada people are coming down here. They're coming down here to America for their medical procedures. Or they go to Mexico for medical procedures because of the fact that they can't get in. They can't get their stuff approved. They can't get in to get any of it done. I mean, seriously. I'm amazed. You know, they keep pushing for this utopia that they are looking for. There is no utopia, folks. There's only one utopia in this world, and that's heaven. But you got to die in order to get there. And you got to live your life according to God's laws in order to get there. So even then, you've got a bunch of red tape to get into the utopia. Not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the facts. Now, all of this stuff that's going on, all of this stuff that's happening under today, and I'm talking about the political violence that we have. Like, you notice Joy Reid didn't say that, hey, this is their idea of a grand scheme, blah, blah, blah. No, she called it dangerous. You know that they call you dangerous. Okay? And it's those kinds of phraseologies and those kinds of words that are being used that are causing a lot of the political violence that we see, and even non-political violence that we see, just violence, period, that we see going on with all of this. And the Democrats are not giving up on this. See, this is part of their rhetoric that's becoming a social contagion. It's become a social contagion because if you get into a argument with these people, they immediately will go and assign you the terms that they like, whether it's racists, fascist, you know, whatever kind of phobic you want to add to it. They also say you're a threat to democracy when we're not even a democracy. We're a republic. We're a threat to freedom in this nation when all we want is fair immigration policy. The right to speak, free speech. They call things that aren't free speech topics a matter of free speech. Like canceling a television show because the host is an idiot and has low ratings. See, the Democrats understand that if you can control the language, you can control the minds of the weak-minded. See, their demonization is essentially, and believe me, they're, as much as I call them morons, in this particular case, they really are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. And they understand, and they don't care. To them, again, it's not happening, but it's good that it is. That's their philosophy. That's exactly their philosophy. And people like Governor Gavin Newsom and Governor Pritzker, they're sitting there and they keep lighting the match. They keep lighting the match. And they keep pushing the idea that all of this, everything that we want, like Joy Reid, oh, it's a dangerous thing to want low taxes. No government interference. Any of that kind of stuff. To be able to keep what you earn. Because that's what she's saying, passing it down. I mean, this is literally, these kinds of words and language are exactly what the Democrats are pushing for. So, you know, also, don't forget, too, you're relentlessly calling your enemies Nazis, fascists, tyrants. not having a singular shred of actual evidence that proves any of this, of course, but using it basically turns everybody who is not of a stable mind into a ticking time bomb. And that's what they're doing. And the reason why, at least in my opinion, is that part of this is because of the fact that our culture now, and I'm speaking specifically with the American culture, but our culture now has become a culture who dehumanizes people. See, the left believes that conservatives are less than human. The left believes that babies are just a clump of cells. The left believes that the babies are, it's a zygote. It's a mistake. That's all it is. It was a mistake. And they've been doing this and talking about this for the course of, over the course of 40 or 50 years. The point about all this is that they are attempting, and they have, in my mind, they have gotten there. They've been able to brainwash enough people in our society who now believe that political violence is acceptable. See, this is why the left is doing this, because, and again, Marxism is one of the most violent of the isms, whether it's socialism, communism, etc. Marxism is one of the most violent. And this is why Mark Levin is correct in calling them American Marxists. They want the violence. They know exactly what they are doing with this. They want the violence. They want the rhetoric. They want the angry words. They want all of this. They want the fascists. They want the Nazis. They want all of that. There's people who are out there who are insisting that white supremacy still exists today. Again, just by the very nature of your skin, you are automatically either an oppressor or the oppressed. You could be born of a severely rich family, be a black American, and you're still considered oppressed because of your skin color. They sit here and they look at things like the political persecutions of Trump as being necessary to protect democracy. But when the coin is on the other side and Trump is actually enforcing the law, he's actually enforcing the law. And it just so happens that it might be a political enemy that he's going after. He's enforcing the law. They've been breaking the law and they get away with it because of their status as being a leftist, or at least a leftist sympathizer. But he's sitting there and actually enforcing the law. And what do the left do? They talk about the fact that he is becoming a dictator. He's a fascist. He's, Hitler. He's all these other things. This is the leftist movement. They've been working on this for decades. They talk about MAGA being the new KKK, when in actuality there are people of all nationalities, meaning races, inside the MAGA movement. The Democrats don't care. They don't care. And the leftists are more than willing to jump in and do this over and over and over. They don't care. For an example, Hakeem Jeffries talks about there was the progress of emancipation and Reconstruction followed by the backlash of Jim Crow, the KKK, and a lynching epidemic. What he doesn't tell you is that was the Democrats that did that. That was the Democrats who did that. And they're sitting here talking about this as though the Republicans were the ones that did all this. No, they didn't. They try to sell you this idea that the parties switched. They didn't. They try to sell you this myth that the Republicans became the party of the KKK. And that's not true. They sit there and they talk about all of these people, and again, this is like a coordinated effort here. It's a concentrated effort, because once you drink the blue Kool-Aid and you've got your brainworm amoeba in your head telling you all these things, all you have to do is watch on the social medias. One of them says it, all of them say it. And it's almost a verbatim thing. Like there's a reason why on this show we call them the Star Trek Borg. Because that's what they act like. See, and all of this stuff is designed to make it so that conservatives can't even get a break, because again, we try to argue the issues. We try to argue with logic, reason, facts, evidence, truth. The left wants none of that. They don't want any of it. And they're going to continue, by the way, to keep demonizing conservatives, and especially Christian conservatives, all the time. And what's helping them along, too, is actually social media. There's this great piece in the Epoch Times. Here, I'm going to show it to you. Now, this is an in-depth premium report, so unfortunately you may, the link that I gave you should give you the ability to read it, but you may end up running into a paywall on this. But this is discussing the whole concept of social media and how social media is warping people's relationship with violence. Now, they make a couple of arguments here that are very similar to the arguments talking about video games, but I think most rational people can separate real violence from the fake violence that is on television or video games. But the problem here is that when you get those videos, for an example, the video of Irina Zarutska, I think I could pronounce that correctly, being killed on the train. That video was shared thousands of times, all across the globe. And that was horrific to watch, even blurred out in certain cases. See, we used to have this thing called personal responsibility and accountability, and also this thing known as decency, respect. Nowadays, you see, and this is another part of it too, is the first thing that you want to do, the majority of people, rather than help other people, and this is part of the dehumanization that I keep talking about of today's society and of the left. You see people in trouble, and the first thing you do is whip out your phone to be the first one to post it to social media on a video. Not caring about the fact that that is an individual who is in serious trouble, potentially in pain, and may even die. But you don't care about that. And the leftists have been pushing this for years. J.B. Pritzker was talking about, hey, if you see ice, you film everything with ice. Film it. every time you have an encounter with ICE, film it. Never minding the fact that the reality of the situation is ICE is just trying to do their job. And if you stay out of their way, you're not going to have a problem with them. If you do what they tell you, and this is the same thing, this goes the same thing with police brutality cases and things like that. As long as you follow their directions and treat them with respect, you're going to be treated with respect. But we've gone away from all that because of the fact that the leftists sit here and they glorify all of this. They push all of this. They've turned the violence and the rhetoric and the acceptability of all of these things into our society. Social contagion. Here, third paragraph in this piece. In contrast with movies and video games, which show fictional violence, social media provides the ability to see real violence with effectively no restrictions on age. It is often presented as entertainment, with flippant, crass, or cynical commentary, and mixed with other random content described in our online parlance as brain rot. According to Jeffrey Blevins, who is the professor of media and journalism at the University of Cincinnati and an expert on social media content. Political divisions, and this is part of my whole diatribe here. Political divisions have resulted in the casting of large segments of society as subhuman. This is exactly what the leftists are doing by their language, by their very use of provocative rhetoric. Is essentially talking about that there's supposedly large segments of society that are considered to be subhuman, leading to the suggestion that they deserve violence. This is according to Andrew Saddleback, an associate professor of media and communications at the University of Florida, who specializes in social media research. Folks, what we're talking about here and what we're dealing with is an outgrowth. You want to talk about the political violence, this is just an outgrowth of a social contagion, which is essentially that it is acceptable. It is acceptable today to utilize language as a weapon. It is acceptable today to consider your opponents, political, social, any other kind of opponent, as being less than human. This is the problem with today's left. They encourage the use of these kinds of rhetoric and language in order to make it to where conservatives are considered to be subhuman and should be erased and wiped out. How many times did you hear people like Joe Biden talk about the extreme MAGA Republicans? How many times does Hakeem Jeffries use that phraseology? How many times has many of these leftist lunatics, like Maxine Waters, saying you can't leave them alone? You go into their restaurants when you see them out in public and you tell them we don't want you here. Yeah. And you sit there and you wonder why our society is breaking down as bad as it is. Because not only do these leftists sit there and demonize and consider conservatives and their opponents as subhuman, they also consider and want to push the idea that we should be erased from society. That we do not have the ability to live in our society. that we need to be erased. This is what they do. Now, here's an example of a place, and here's part of the reason why I have a challenge with TikTok in particular. So this right here is a list or a graph. Here, let me see if I can blow it up. This is a graph that demonstrates the amount of time that teens are exposed to violent content on social media. And TikTok is the worst offender at 44%. Now, this is the percentage of youth 13 to 17 years old that are being exposed to this. 44% are exposed to violent content on TikTok. 43% get it from X. Facebook, 33%. Snapchat, 32%. Instagram, 31%. Now, as everybody's talking about, of course, the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk was an interesting case study, because that video, many videos that were being shared. I mean, unfortunately I saw it from like 3 different angles. The same thing from 3 different angles. It was horrifying. And all of that is acceptable to the left. Research literature, by the way, according to this piece in the Epoch Times, research literature has talked for years about the issue of desensitization by repeated exposure to violence in digital media. See, this is the thing, is that we are desensitizing ourselves by having all of this being able to be viewed by anyone who happens to have an internet connection. And I'm not calling for censorship. I'm not calling for any of that, but just need to understand that the reason why this stuff is there is because it is acceptable, first of all, to even do it. You get into an argument on the streets. This is an incident that happened recently. You get into an argument on the streets, and the first thing that happens, it's a couple, a man and a woman. The man gets into an argument with another man on the street. Rather than fighting one-on-one and resolving the situation with just your fists, one person gets jumped on by 15 others, and they're all jumping on you. It's like a pack of wild dogs or gang mentality. They just immediately, you immediately just get jumped on. You're no longer fighting one, you're fighting 15 or 20 or God knows 100. And that poor woman who's the wife tries to stop that, and she gets attacked. And this is ridiculous. These are the things that are being accepted in society. And what's worse is, because of our justice system is no longer a actual justice system, that criminals doing these kinds of behaviors, they get picked up, but then they get let go. This is part of the social contagion. It's acceptable to not only record this stuff and post it online, but it's also acceptable to jump in and add into the process. Social media is one part of this. Part of the thing to blame. All right. Okay. So if you will bear with me here, let's do one more. know what? Bear with me here. I meant to get the pet of the week put up, and just give me a second here because we got a great pet of the week this week, and I unfortunately did not grab it. So just hang on for just a second. Here we go. Okay. This. And we'll do this. See. All right. Well, this will at least start tonight. So let's end this on a happy note, and let's talk about the what do I want? Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about pet of the week. So that's this one. Here we go. All right, tonight's pet of the week was submitted by Kat Pekarik. Kat Pekarik over on Rumble. She sent me this last week and sent me, you know, we kind of went back and forth a little bit, but sent this wonderful story. So, by the way, I have the answer. So you recall, last Saturday, I showed you a picture of Kat and her husband, and I said, "Where's whiskey?" And nobody, you know, we didn't know where it was from. She unfortunately, I didn't look at all of my emails at that point. But that picture that she sent in for Saturday, by the way, was that it was apparently in Atlantic City, New Jersey, back in April. So there you go. All right. Tonight's pet of the week is a little kitten. That's right. A little kitten. Let's see here. I gotta do this very carefully because there's a video that I want to show, but all right. So here is a little kitten. No, not the big cat, but the little kitten that's right next to him. So this is Hunter at 5 weeks old. So Hunter apparently was the only kitten to survive from a litter of 4. So this is the this is a picture of him. I believe this is the one at 5 weeks old with mom, and he's the only one to have survived. And let's see, what else do we have? This next photo, there he is. There he is. There's the baby, little baby kitten. And I got to figure out how to set this up so I can actually see everything. Anyway, so there we go. That last picture that I showed was he was with his mom at 2 to 3 weeks old. And so now we have that's him. And I think I don't know how old the cat is here. It was probably about 5 or 6 weeks old, I'm guessing. But anyway, so that's Hunter. And there's Hunter, a little bit bigger. So he's playing in a box. You know, cats always have, I don't understand this. So there's Cat. Cat says this is his 2 to 3 weeks with mom, and then he's at 5 to 6 weeks. I don't know what this picture is, but maybe Cat can kick me in the pants, kick me in the pants for this one. But anyway, I don't understand why cats have fascinations with boxes. Every time we open up a box here, our cats, at least one of them, will go and like jump into it. They always have to. We call it, if I fits, I sits. Is what we call it. But anyway, so there's Hunter again. And here they're outside, and we have 3 cats. So this is, let's see, who are these ones? We have Hunter, Tiger, and Hunter and Tiger. I think. And yeah, so there's the kitties. So there's, I think that's Hunter. And then we have, oh, I thought there was another cat over there. There isn't. Then we have the other one, I think Mama, Tiger. No, Hunter and Tiger. And they've gotten along. So there you go. There's Hunter and Tiger. And let's see, there should be another picture. Yep, there's the orange cat. Oh, Mom is by the step. Okay, so Mom's by the step. So here's the orange cat. This one's Tiger. Orange cat is Tiger. So there's Tiger. Yeah, Tiger is orange. So there's Tiger. So Tiger is hanging out, and apparently Tiger and Hunter, they get along, but they don't like play. They don't. They sort of ignore each other, which I've seen cats do on quite a few locations. So, but anyway, so there's that, and let's see. Do we have any? No, no more pictures. But I do have a video to play, and give me just a second here. Get this up. See if this will pop up. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right. So here is the video. I got to get this. There we go. So here's the video. And I think this, yeah, here we go. This is the video, but this is his first video, Hunter's first video. So let's go ahead and now this is a fairly short video, but there he is. He's drinking some milk, or at least trying to drink some milk. Not quite sure what to do with it. Yep, there we go. No. Now we got it. Oh, there we go. Now it tastes good. All right. Here, we'll play that one again because it is a little short. But there he is. He's kind of investigating, sniffing. Oh, there we go. Tasted it. Oh, yeah. Gotta lick the lips. Gotta lick the lips. Tastes good. Let me go back for a second run. So there you go. All right, and that's Hunter, the survivor of a wonderful, unfortunately, the only survivor of that particular litter. Let's see what else is we got here. Yeah, I think that's it. But she points out in here in the Cat Picaric points out in this that Hunter is confused, given that it was living at a home with toddlers that was a bit rough, to being spoiled by what's called mother-in-law. They had to transport him to New Jersey and then back to Western Pennsylvania and vice versa due to my mother-in-law had a cat that didn't get along well with him. This cat is proof it cannot understand language, but more so actions, given he resided in an English and a Polish-speaking home. Cat also says, although I do question if a few words are understood by cats. My understanding is that cats and dogs do have the capability of having a vocabulary. But I'm not exactly sure how big of a vocabulary it is. I know scientists have tried to figure that out, but anyway. So there you go. So that is tonight's Pet of the Week. That was Hunter. If you would like your Pet of the Week featured here on the program, all you need to do is send me a pic or two or three or videos, whatever. Send them on over to me. Send them to fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will have them featured. Currently the queue is empty, so if you get one in in the next few days, then you'll be featured next week on Wednesday's Pet of the Week. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget on your way out, hit those thumbs up or thumbs down, or in the case of 3 Chevy, a thumb sideways. Across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.